There's a lot going on with the government right now, especially with the EPA. In this video, I'm going to talk about hybrids, EVs, and tell you whether or not Ford Motor Company is shoving these vehicles down our throats. And to have something to look at while we're talking about it, I have brought out one of the coolest hybrids you have ever seen. And to prove my point, I was actually ordering cars for our sister company, Town & Country Ford, and Ford had made some recommendations on what they think we should have for our inventory. And what I noticed is there was a lot of 3.5 Powerboost hybrids in there, which by the way is a great engine. And this one has got that same engine in it. But I wanted to change these specific vehicles over to a 5.0, and Ford wouldn't let me. The engine was locked down for those specific vehicles. And what I found out might absolutely shock you. But before we do that, let's take a quick look at one of the coolest Powerboosts we have ever built at TC Customs. Starting on the front end of this truck, there's so much going on, it's impossible to cover it all. In fact, this is the build sheet, and this thing looks more like a CVS receipt than it does an actual build sheet. There's that much custom work that has been done to this particular truck. But a couple of notable features: you've got the painted to match emblem, you've got the bug shield in the front, you've got my favorite lights on the market, Baja designs. I run the same brand lights on my personal Ford Bronco Raptor, and as you can see, these fog lights look absolutely incredible. But one of the biggest upgrades on the front end of this truck are going to be these Morimoto headlights. These things look absolutely killer, especially with these DRLs. Unbelievably cool looking headlight. The suspension on this thing is crazy. This is probably one of the closest things you can get to a Raptor. This is an Icon Stage 3 coilover suspension system with a billet upper control arm, and it's also got some remote reservoir. I can't say that. And it's also got some remote, and it's got some remote reservoirs in the back as well. But here's what's cool, is not only do you have the Icon suspension, but you also have the Icon Vehicle Dynamics wheels. Now this is probably not the wheel that I would have selected, but it still looks really dang cool. If I were going with this build, I probably would have gone with the Rebound Pros. Those are so cool because it has that inner beadlock technology, but it's nice to know Icon's got quite a few different wheels to choose from. As far as the tires, we got a set of Toyo Open Country AT3s, a great all-around tire, very comparable to the Nitto Recon Grappler. And if you didn't know, Toyo actually owns Nitto tires. That's one of the reasons these tires are so comparable between the two, is because they're owned and probably engineered by the exact same people. My personal favorite modification on the whole truck, the TC Customs badges in the fenders. I love this setup. And by the way, if you ever have your vehicle customized by TC Customs, ask for one of these. We'll be happy to install them to you for absolutely no charge. That's a benefit of doing business with TC Customs. Another cool part is you've got your power deployable steps. These are those AMP power deployable steps, and they work out pretty well. But you know, not only am I 6'3", you can see how tall this truck is compared to me. Even though this is not a full-blown lift kit because of that suspension, it is nice to see how much lower that board drops. But I've had a lot of people ask, okay, well, wait a second, well, how am I supposed to wash the board if it tucks away every single time I close the door? Just keep your foot on the board. It's actually designed to know when there is weight on the board, and now it'll stay open so that way you can wash it with the doors closed. To recycle it, you're good to go. Moving around back, we've got a black exhaust tip because you really don't want to be messing with the emissions on a hybrid vehicle. We're going to talk about that here in just a second as well. But taking a look back here, you've got your painted to match Ford emblem in the back as well. And you've also got a tag light bracket, which makes it really nice for backing the vehicle up at night. Double click the remote and the tailgate will automatically release for you. That is one of the nice things about this trim level of the F-150, which, yes, this is a four-wheel drive and it's an FX4, but as you can see, those emblems were actually removed off the side of the bed. But you do have your full-blown tailgate step, just like you have on normal vehicles on most of the F-150s. But the reason I wanted to open this up was to show you one of the really cool things. You've got the third brake light from Morimoto. This thing is stupid bright, so that way you can absolutely light up the entire bed of the truck, even better than the OEM factory with that third brake light. And speaking of light, let's take a look at the tail lamps. These things are awesome. I love the way these look. Now, I think the headlights look even cooler because you got so much more going on, but I love the smoked out look. You got the DRLs, and the cool part is your blind spot information system, the radar for that, it actually bolts up into the Morimoto tail light just like factory and it works just like factory. Another cool feature about this truck, because it is a Powerboost hybrid vehicle, is you've got the full-blown power outlets in the back of the truck. Now, depending on which option you select, you can get up to 7.2 kilowatts of continuous power in the bed of the truck. And for a lot of people, that is enough to power a campsite, a work site, some people's homes, the whole nine. And so it's really nice that you have that hybrid technology. And since we're talking about the hybrid technology, let's talk a little bit more about what Ford is mandating. And really, it's not even what Ford's mandating, it's what the government is mandating. And if you guys did not know, we are not a political channel. We don't talk about politics, but to the fact that it actually affects what we do on this channel, which is cool trucks, we got to talk about it. And so at the end of the day, Ford Motor Company is the #1 builder of pickup trucks in the world. The F-Series is the #1 selling truck for something like 46 years in a row. I can't remember the exact number, so put it on the screen, editor, please. But at the end of the day, if the F-150 was its own company, it probably would be a Fortune 500 company if it was just the F-150 alone. That's how much Ford produces for the American economy. People don't realize that. But the problem is you've got CAFE requirements. You have the emissions standards that are continuing to come down. And the problem is that Ford Motor Company has to be compliant with those standards. And to the extent that they're not, they could get fined. They could, I don't even know what the repercussions are. And so in the past, what a lot of manufacturers were doing is they were buying credits from companies like Tesla who do nothing but build EVs. Well, guess what? There's no more credits to buy from what I've heard. And so what do? You have to find ways to make your vehicles more fuel efficient or stop selling them. It's real simple. And so one of the things that Ford came out with a couple of years ago is the Powerboost Hybrid. In fact, let's go take a look underneath the hood and I'll show you what I mean. So the Powerboost Hybrid, it works like this. It is a 3.5 liter V6 engine, has twin turbos to make more power. But built inside of the transmission, you have an electric motor to assist it. And Ford calls this their full hybrid technology, meaning that you can run in complete electricity or complete gas or any mixture of the two. It's designed to do a couple of things. Get you a little bit better fuel economy, in my opinion, to keep Ford compliant with the government. I think that's one of the biggest components of this particular engine. But at the end of the day, this joker is actually pretty quick because you have that electric power assisted transmission that is kind of giving you a little bit more horsepower and torque. And so it's a pretty cool little setup. It's basically like, think of it this way, it's basically like an EcoBoost meets a little extra electric engine in the transmission. And as you can see, this particular Powerboost has been updated with the Roush cold air intake system. It's going to allow for better fuel economy, but also a little bit more horsepower and torque because of that freer flowing air throughout the engine. And in addition to that, you've got the CORSA Performance catch can to make sure this thing runs smooth and basically gets all that gunk out of the engine before it goes right back into it. You also notice you actually have your S-Pod. We're going to show you that here in just a second on the inside of the truck. That is a pretty sweet little setup. You're going to absolutely love. How many times have I said sweet little setup? Let me know down in the comments. On the inside of the truck, you're going to notice there's a lot going on here as well. This is a set of custom catskin leather seats. In fact, this is a limited edition run that they had and debuted at the SEMA show just a few months ago. And I think it looks really cool with all the extra cross stitching. You got the perforations, you got the nice bolsters. The seats look absolutely amazing. I love it. And the other thing I want to show you that's customized on the inside of this vehicle is going to be right here. That's that S-Pod system that I was talking about a little bit earlier. This is a control panel for anything and everything you might want to do on your vehicle. So if you wanted to wire this, wire that, that's why you saw that underneath the hood not long ago, is because now you have got your full ability to turn them on, turn them off, go back and forth, and you can add lots of different custom accessories with that. I think Baja Designs did a great job of designing that for the F-150. The back seat is more cluttered than my brain with ADHD, but here you go. We got a lot of the takeoff parts because the good customer that bought this truck and had it customized wanted to keep, obviously, all the extra parts and pieces, and we're happy to oblige, but you do have the custom leather back here as well. Getting back to the EPA and the government agencies and what's being forced for fuel economy, let's talk about what the other manufacturers are doing, the big three. For instance, the Ram TRX is no more. and they're coming out with a brand new vehicle for better fuel efficiency. That is, at the end of the day, all because they needed to hit their numbers for compliance. So what do? They come out with the brand new Ram RHO found right here. Okay, so obviously a little bit of a dig at Ram, but I think Ford's plan for how do you mitigate that is a lot better. Don't take away our big V8 supercharged like the Raptor R. Ford has still got that option, but yet they also have an option like this, which is a Powerboost hybrid that gets great fuel economy. You know what I would love to see is a plug-in hybrid F-150 Powerboost. Imagine in a world where you could actually plug the vehicle up and do your normal commute. Let's say you could do 100 miles, in a single charge. How cool would that be to be able to do everything you need to do around town on electricity? But when you need to go on that long distance road trip across the nation, it automatically switches to gasoline when you're ready for it. So this is a great proof of concept. Ford, give us a plug-in hybrid and help with the EPA requirements all at the same time. But no matter what you do, Ford, please don't take away our V8s.